looks like Cambodia straight through there, man. That's crazy.
It's amazing.
I love a flashlight in the woods in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably a good thing to do, really, because you've got more experience actually of the lights than we have, haven't you?
Yeah, we've been doing this for a few years.
Yeah, so maybe you could give us a little description of what it entails, the whole thing.
What it entails.
Yeah.
Coming down into the pitch blackness of the woods,
Yeah.
down a very treacherous, well, not super treacherous, but treacherous trail, a lot of roots, very steep hill, and singing into the darkness, hoping that whatever they are responds. And for the most part, we get responses. So every now and then, there's a night where nothing happens. But we usually get a little something. And the lights are very unique because they look almost more like little sparks than little glow lights. They move in very dramatic, quick angles when you see them moving. And they really respond to singing and laughing in a general kind of attitude of joviality. When people come down and are very serious and doing like prayers and very like contemplative hymns, we really don't get anything. But telling jokes and doing kind of silly songs and stuff seems to really get us more of a response than just, being serious about it.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are.
This was your first experience of seeing this last night. So what were your thoughts on it?
It was my first experience. Well, the biggest takeaways for me, or the most confronting thing right away, was when I came down here. The first light that I saw, I was halfway certain that it was somebody beyond this thicket with a flashlight shining it right at me. It was that degree of intensity, right? And I saw several others over the course of the 90 minutes that we were down here that matched that same intensity. I grew up catching lightning bugs in the South. And there are different species that manifest in different colors and different patterns and such, but some aspects of this just don't quite seem to add up to that. Frankly, there is something kind of bug-like about them, or about certain ones of them, but that's in and of itself kind of a confounding factor because they don't really all seem to behave or appear uniformly. Last night, I certainly saw white, yellowish white, and blue, and some others saw pinkish or red. I didn't really get quite as good a look at those, I think due to my position. But very responsive. I would agree that there seemed to be a noticeable reaction to the attitude of the group, which was quite strange.
And it seemed to die down and get quiet when people started to drift off from the task.
It would. And then as soon as you started bringing a little bit more levity to the conversation, it started to pick up again a bit. Hey man, how's it going?
Hello.
Hello.
Fancy meeting you here. I'm not sure that you're not a genus loci, just hanging out.
You're always here.
Genus loci.
Walking around, I didn't know where else to go. Didn't realize you guys were down here until I saw the light.
The localization was also kind of curious. We are near a wetland, but I know that you alluded to seeing them elsewhere, but for example, up on the other trail, again, different topography, but there's nothing. It was just black as pitch. So I really have a certain ambivalence about it because some things seem quite firefly-like about them, but other things just don't, quite frankly. The patterns that they were flashing, the trajectories, the sort of manner and the way that they glowed. Honestly, if I had to say what they looked like in the least subjective way, just to describe it to people, it almost looks like if you gave something a bunch of LED lights and said, "Okay, imitate fireflies."
Yeah.
That's sort of the takeaway in terms of the quality of the light and the intensity of some of them. It's almost there's almost this veneer of artificiality to them, which, or at least if not artificiality, then non. I don't want to say unnatural, right? Because I think that these things are as part of nature as anything else. Heretofore uncatalogued sort of behavior is probably a better way to put it.
Okay. So I joined a group of people that was at night to go, do the ferry trail, and I think I confess, especially I really didn't accept the reality of fairies. And we went into the woods, and we were with someone who I believe had given a beautiful lecture on fairies, like a serious scholar, and a musicologist of, I think, Renaissance music. And he brought a particular flute. It looked to me like a recorder. I'm not sure if it was. And he was using that to try to attract the fairies. And nothing was happening, and it was pitch black. There was no moonlight. And it was really very dark, and then somebody, after we were getting it was taking a long time. We were getting a little punchy, and somebody started singing beer hall songs, like 100 bottles of beer on the wall. Everyone joined in, and then suddenly we started seeing little lights coming towards us. And they were not fireflies. It wasn't a sharp flickering light. It was what I saw was a sort of diffused, maybe 3 inches wide, ovals kind of, and they would sort of approach. And then everybody got excited by saying, "Oh, do you see that? Do you see that?" and stop singing, and then they'd recede. And then we'd start singing boisterously again, and they would approach, and I'm trying to remember, sometimes it would be maybe 3, at one point maybe as many as 7. What I saw was white light, but sort of diffused, without much of a center, and it was, I don't know what it was. I do not know what it was. And I went back to my room, and I knew it wasn't fireflies, but I Googled, bioluminescent swamp bugs, or I tried, because but it doesn't seem that those are indigenous to this part of the world. So
I wonder what you are.
I don't think there's a huge variance. Sometimes I think the biggest difference is with how much they move. Because sometimes it's a lot of stationary blinking lights, and then other times we've seen wild patterns of them going almost in like tandem in these very dramatic kind of zigzag patterns, and a lot doing it kind of at once. But that's probably the biggest variance I've seen in their behavior.
It happened in this particular woods, but it also happened over by where the fairy trail is. And I had only, before that, seen the lights or divas of the plants when they were ready to be picked in my garden. I had this huge garden and a 24-foot greenhouse, and but interestingly, the woods was very much like this, except that it was grown up. This woods is all eaten down by the deer because they don't allow shooting.
Yeah.
So all the deers from this area come into this woods every hunting season.
I've seen some, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I used to see lights, but when you said you saw ones, I was excited because by now it's been much of 30 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to do that again. But I knew that Charlie would have a fit if I went by myself.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't sure where to go with a golf cart.
Yeah.
And I had left my hiking poles at home, and my hip was bugging me. So, where did you actually go to see him?
It was apparently it's the old fairy trail.
So, the one that goes towards Mud Lake where the beavers are?
Mud Lake, that's it.
All right.
Yeah. And we would go down the path there, follow the path down, and you get to a little bit just down at the bottom where it starts to get boggy, and I'm guessing that's the Mud Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was there. There's a little patch it's kind of framed by some trees, so it kind of looks like a screen when you're looking at it. And then you can see sort of all of the plants going off into the mud. And if you were to walk down there, you'd get stuck in the mud. It would be
Yeah.
a nightmare. And
There is somewhat of a lake there because
Yeah.
my back door neighbor took me in his canoe once. And
around the back of it,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
I've been thinking about it a little bit, and it's like with all kind of paranormal things, there's always an element of kind of doubt that comes into it, and you
Absolutely.
can never be 100% convinced. So like you could always say that it's fireflies, even if it was a really impressive kind of display. It's easy to explain away.
We've talked about this enough, but I do think that's the realm in which this stuff thrives, is that sort of level of uncertainty. I've leaned on your work in quoting for my own, but it's almost by sort of allowing that room for plausible deniability, it allows the genuine phenomenon to step in and bridge that gap, right? And that certainly is part and parcel for the way that I felt. I will say that there's no ambiguity in terms of of us actually seeing lights. Sometimes people will take you out to see lights and you'll kind of think you maybe saw something, possibly, but this was, we definitely saw something. It's just a matter of what it was that we saw.
There's definitely ones where you get kind of more like a single light going for a while, and then other ones will blink very rapidly. Yeah. So there's definitely is that variance.
It makes me wonder also whether, we're maybe trying to suggest that all of these individual lights are the same phenomenon, when in fact there might be other, like two different kinds of things going on. There might be fireflies and spirits mixing it up. So, who knows?
Yeah.
I'm not certain I'd be able to, but I don't see any bugs floating around.
And there was,
There was, but it looked different to me. Different
Can
color.
you see them up on the top?
Yeah, different color, different.
but I mean, you're right, because right now there's things.
There's a mosquito just floating in front of your light,
Yeah, there's a spider that
There's a
decided
daddy
long
long
ways on that tree right there.
so we can see bugs.
I would think that would partially preclude the idea of insects, because you wouldn't expect that sort of variation at all. You would expect it just to be sort of a random distribution.
Yeah.
And yeah, I that's one of the more confounding things to me, is because even from y'all's experiences, it seems like there have been these sort of slight variations from time to time.
Yeah, there's a few different colours, and the ones that I saw last year, to me, seemed to be really stable. They didn't flash as much, and this year they seem to have been flashing more.
There's a little flicker, isn't there?
Right. A little bit of an uptick. We're back.
Hello, thanks for coming out.
That one was distinctly different right there.
So what's your feeling about it? I mean, what's your kind of takeaway interpretation of it?
I've thought of a lot of things over the years, whether it's spirit or perhaps a more natural entity of the woods, or, you know, even just kind of a macro psychic projection of, you know, the energy of the town, or you know, even just us kind of singing. But it's definitely something.
Yeah.
I can't, you know, and we were here in October during a cold snap when it was like 50 degrees. There's no bugs, and we got amazing results, and we even saw them up in town.
That does add a different
Yeah,
spin on
and
it,
I got a
doesn't it?
good picture of the one we have in town, which was a blue light, and our friend got a picture of one she took down here, and they are the exact same shape. And it's no bug body or anything. It's like this two little sectioned light. It's very interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah.
We down by the bay, where the watermelons grow. Back to my home, I dare not go. For if I do, my mother might say. That one is there. Yeah, I'll see a red one.
That's amazing. You saw a red one?
Yeah.
I saw a red one earlier.
Really?
10
Not
o'clockish.
like bright,
Like
not
pinkish
like
red.
stoplight red. Yeah.
It's hard, you know, they do look, I mean, they do possibly look like fireflies. That's one thing. Although we saw fireflies last year, and they were quite a different kind of light. But they really seem to respond to song. So if it goes really quiet and no one's talking, then the kind of activity lessens off. But if you start singing or making jokes and things like that, then they start to light up, and they seem to respond to the kind of atmosphere.
And how big were the lights you saw? Because I used to see some that were pretty good size.
Some people have said that they've seen quite large ones. Had a couple of people describe that. The ones that I saw this year were small kind of lights that flash.
Oh, cool, like fairy lights.
Like fairy lights. And they were blue. There was blue ones, red ones, and white ones. Last year when I saw them, they were very solid kind of blue lights. They didn't flash. Then they came down from high up in the tree and just sort of floated down. They were about maybe a metre or two away from me. And I tapped Chris on the shoulder and said, look, you know, they're there. They're actually there. So
How
then,
cool.
very cool, yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely a strange thing.
Well, I don't know if it's strange. It's
Well,
like spirits saying hi.
Yeah.
I mean, the irony is not lost on me that, you know, there's sort of this insectine through line in fairy folklore, and we're invoking insects as a possible explanation too.
Yeah.
It seems like the perfect place for this to sort of hide, to again foster that plausible deniability, right?
Yeah. Or it could be fairies disguised as insects.
Yeah.
For all we know.
Okay.
They didn't really like that one.
Okay.
Could be magic insects.
Yeah.
In the same way as the four magical Chinese animals, the hedgehog and the weasel and the fox and whoever the other one was. How you could recognise an ordinary hedgehog from a magic hedgehog. The magic hedgehog will be on its hind legs staring at you.
Yeah.
And in this way, maybe a magic firefly would do something on the firefly like.
A magic
Like
insect
not-
might Yeah.
not blink, or blink rapidly.
Or communicate with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have been struck both this week and last year by, it feels very significant that a group of people are apparently seeing the same thing. So that last night, I'm sure I thought, well, they seem rather colourful, but am I imagining it because of my eyes adjusting to the dark? And someone else has said that. Now, whether we're all influencing each other, I don't think so. Like you said, last year they were more bluish and not blinking on and off, which is what we have seen this week. But they were kind of just white on Monday.
Yeah, they were. There was no colour on Monday when we came to see them.
Yeah. So that feels significant. Whether or not it's a group hallucination, I got to the stage where I don't really want to know. Like when I went to the Magic Circle Christmas show, and some of the conjuring was just off the scale. I mean, it was far more impressive than anything I've seen at the Spiritualist Church. Maybe I'm going to the wrong Spiritualist churches, but I started to think, how did he do that? Well, no, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
It spoils the magic.
Better to live with the magic.
Yes.
I just asked about, because Jeff obviously is, well, possibly a physical animal and a paranormal phenomenon at the same time. So do you think there's any kind of parallels?
I'm kind of drawn towards the idea of nature spirits. I felt that very much when I went to visit the mongoose farm, and there was a family of hares playing very fearlessly, didn't seem to be bothered by us. And Jeff seems to be situated at that place. But saying nature spirits kind of begs the question of what is a nature spirit.
Yeah.
It's more straightforward if you say I'm a ghost in the form of a weasel, and you don't want to see me in my other form, because you'd be mummified and petrified.
Well, these guys could be, ghosts in the form of insects.
Firefly ghosts.
Yeah.
Whatever I saw, it was magical. But again, I'm whatever. Why not accept the reality of fairies? So that's where I am. I'm not sure if I do, but I'm kind of in the why not place.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Okay. So.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.